Caro, good morning or good afternoon or good evening. Whatever time of day it is, I pray that your mind, your heart, and your spirit are all poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. You know, in my work as a human services professional, as an educator, as a priest, a big part of my task is to discern your needs and help you identify the resources available to fulfill them. So, as a counselor, for example, a person may come with a certain kind of problem, or they're suffering some kinds of symptoms, they don't know what's going on, and in the person's mind, in your mind as the client, you may think that I'm going to give you answers, I'm going to solve your problem for you, but in reality what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to the problem. I'm going to use different kinds of listening techniques to get a good understanding of how well you understand the problem, how you see the problem, how you perceive the problem, and make some logical connections between how you got here and what real state of mind you're in as you experience this thing. And in that process, if I do my job really well, I'm not going to give you answers. I'm not going to tell you that you need to quit your job, or you need to start speaking up for yourself, or you need to get a new spouse or anything like that. That's not what I'm going to do if I'm operating at the best level of my skill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help you identify some contradictions in what you're saying. I want to help you identify and make connections with how you really feel, by asking you some follow-up questions and ask for clarification on certain things. And in the process, when it comes down to helping you move forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you identify what resources you have. Once we're clear about the problem and how you feel about it, then we're going to start looking at, well, what do you have at your disposal? Who do you know? What connections do you have? What kinds of ways could you organize your life so that you can alleviate that problem based on what you already have at hand? How can we approach this differently so that you can get the desired results? Likewise, as an educator, as a teacher, let's say in a classroom setting, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ask questions, and I'm going to actually entertain responses from different students. I'm going to be calling on lots of different people to share their experiences and share their insights, so that you can recognize not only resources within your own thought process, but you can also recognize resources within the class. The idea that your classmates and your peers are really more adept at helping you understand where you are relative to the content that I'm presenting. Not that your peers are teaching you, I'm teaching you, but I'm using all of the knowledge and the perspectives of the students in the room at the time to help you to see things from a student perspective, right? So the idea is that someone else who is next to you, or maybe a step further along in the process, is going to be more relatable. They're going to, when they start to articulate their questions and they start to get a better understanding of what they're thinking and how it affects them, it's going to open up doors for you to see yourself and say, oh, right, that's exactly how I was thinking of it. They may liken it to a song that's out right now, or some kind of a game that students are playing, or clothes that are you know what I'm saying? There's just so many different ways for a person to think and understand a situation that a student is going to understand from the perspective of another student better, right, than from the teacher, right? Likewise, within my training as an Ifa priest, it's the same thing. The only difference is that I'm using the divination tools, right? I cast Ifa for you, and Ifa is going to help you recognize, oh, with the situation that you're facing right now, your resources are ancestral. Your ancestors are going to come to support you. Or it's someone in your household who's going to help you. Or it's this divinity or another divinity who is ready to help you and support you. These are the sacrifices that we're going to need to make, and these are the observances that we're going to need to keep in order for you to take advantage of the resources that are available to you right now. Okay, so all of my training reinforces this one idea, which is whatever problem you face, whatever difficulty you're dealing with, the resources that you have are the thing that you are going to need most. In other words, you have with you, no matter what your situation is, you always have some resources at your disposal that you just may not be aware of. And you need me as an outside in, right? You can't see the forest for the trees, but I can, I'm not the one who's grappling with some kind of substance abuse problem. I'm not the one who's grappling with insecurity. I'm not the one who's grappling with infidelity. I'm not the one who's grappling with, high anxiety, right? Not that I don't have those problems in my life, or I don't understand what those problems mean based on my experience, but you're the person who's bringing that to the table at this moment, right? And so I'm from the outside looking in. I can be dispassionate about what's happening because it's not happening to me. And in that capacity, I'm always looking for the ways to help you identify, hey, here's the resource that's available to you. Hey, this is what you have access to. If you just move a little bit to the left or to the right, you're going to be able to just, exit the maze. Okay? And so this is the Orisha Lifestyle Academy, by the way, and I'm your instructor, Obafemi Origunwa. And today, I want to share a really, really potent lesson with you on your greatest resource, your most powerful resource, the most essential resource as it pertains to your mental and emotional stability, as well as your spiritual well-being and the fulfillment of your destiny. And that resource is what we call ORI, O-R-I. ORI is the seat of destiny. A lot of times people call ORI destiny itself, but that's a slight misnomer. ORI is the one that chooses destiny. ORI is the embodiment of destiny. ORI is the vessel and the container of destiny. And as such, ORI is the one that has selected in the prenatal state all of the resources that you will ever need. Everything that you want to accomplish. All the means that you need to fulfill your earthly mission were chosen by ORI in the prenatal state. Before you even got here, your ORI chose some resources, some relationships to the deity, some relationships to the ancestors. And those resources are all that you need to be great. And I love this understanding and this realization, because what it does is it frees you up from constantly scrambling outside of yourself for something that's already in your lap. Sometimes people will go so far away. So we get conditioned to thinking that everything that we need is gonna be found somewhere else. And no matter how much we acquire, if it's knowledge, if it's clothing, if it's cars, if it's money, if it's people, if it's praise, if it's fame, no matter how much we acquire, it never fills the gap. It never satisfies our deepest need. It's only when you go into the content of your true self, until you tap into the real nature of your most authentic identity, that you get the fulfillment and the satisfaction. You get that ease, that you're really looking for, that gratification, and you understand what it means to be truly at home. You understand what it means to be finally where you belong, to be doing what you're meant to do, to yield and submit and to accept fully something that is honestly and sincerely yours, right? That is the end result of recognizing ORI as your most cherished and important resource as it pertains to fulfilling your destiny. And some of the ways in which I have come to appreciate the details of ORI's nature as an ultimate resource has also come from my exposure to the Dahomean cosmology. Dahome being the kingdom of the Fon people. The Fon people are relatives of the Yoruba. They live next door in the kingdom of in the country of the Republic of Benin, but their ancient kingdom is Dahome, and the Dahome have a very well articulated understanding of what we call ORI. But in their instance, what they call ORI She or Che, it's spelled S-E, but it's like the same kind of an S-E that we have in Yoruba. It's dotted, so it can be pronounced She or Che. But in any case, the understanding is that She is a small parcel or a portion of the great She, which comes from Mawu. Mawu being Olodumare. Right? They have Mawulisa, we have Olodumare. And we say the same thing, that one's ORI is a portion of Olodumare. Right? It's what I would say, your God consciousness. When I would teach this concept to small children, I would tell them that, you imagine that you take a bowl and you go to the ocean and you walk out into the ocean and you dip the bowl into the water and you hold that bowl of water in the bowl in your hands and you say, okay, what do you have? You have a bowl of ocean water. Now that ocean water in the bowl is the same as the water that you're standing in. It's the same water. It's just a smaller portion of it. So is your She or your ORI a small portion of Olodumare. Olodumare being the ocean, the bowl of water being your ORI. Right? And so when you recognize what your ORI is, then you can recognize how it relates to the great resources of the universe, which is Olodumare. I hope I'm making sense. It's the more fully you can understand what you're truly made of, the real content of your essence, you're going to recognize that it is the same essence of the universe itself. You just are smaller, right? But your greatness will come from aligning yourself with the greater consciousness or the greater set of resources, which we call Olodumare. And for this reason, we call Ori Ekun Orun, the Leopard of Heaven. Ori is the Leopard of Heaven. The leopard being a symbol of extreme dexterity. If you've ever watched some film of a leopard, or you've had the privilege of seeing a leopard live and up front, you will know that a leopard is pretty much limitless. A leopard can dive into a river and swim into a river and catch a fish or a little, a little alligator, a caiman. A leopard can scale up a tree, 15, 20 feet and then leap 15 feet to another tree. They can jump up and snatch a bird out of sky mid-flight. A leopard is an extremely agile, courageous, and capable animal. Wherever it appears. You can find leopards up in Siberia, and they have the same attributes. Snow leopards, its relatives, the jaguar in South America and the Caribbean. All of this, the animals that fall into this category demonstrate the same kind of prowess. They're almost limitless in their ability to make things happen. And so is Ori. It's almost limitless. It's very, very rugged and very, very capable of protecting your interests and making things happen for you. It's a supreme resource, right? And we see this even relative to the Orisha. If you've been with me for a minute, you've heard me tell this story, and if you hang out long enough, you'll hear me tell this story again and again, wherein the divinities were coming to the world and they were looking for a leader. Each of them wanted to be the leader, but none of them were willing to sacrifice except for Ori. Ori made the sacrifice, and Ori was able to open the coconut of authority. It was then that the deities then contested Ori. They didn't think that Ori had what it took, and so they challenged Ori one by one. Ogun challenged Ori, and Ori defeated Ogun. And when Ori defeated Ogun, he sent him to Ire and made him the master of iron. Shango challenged Ori. Ori defeated Shango. Obatala challenged Ori. Ori defeated Obatala. Orunmila challenged Ori. Ori defeated Orunmila. And each time Ori defeated a divinity, Ori sent that divinity to the kingdom that we know them to belong to today, and made them the master of certain natural gifts and talents. Divination, molding clay, sculpting iron, drumming, dancing, etc. This is why Ori is the Ekun Orun, is the Leopard of Heaven, because there is no force that can overwhelm Ori. It is ready, prepared, and able to take on any challenge. And so it's when I look at the needs that people bring to me, all kinds of needs, health needs, money needs, relationship needs, legal needs, your number one resource is always Ori. Ifa teaches us that no divinity can bless one without the consent of one's Ori. So even when the deities want to bless you, they want to help you, they want to support you, they need the consent and the agreement of Ori in order to do so. Ori is an indisposable resource in the fulfillment of your destiny and your ability to achieve invincibility. And in your interest of making a meaningful contribution to your life and the lives of those who you're destined to serve. Your number one resource has always been, and always will be, Ori. And so within the Orisha Lifestyle Academy, everything that we do is from the inside out. We don't teach anything from the outside in. We expose you to all of the different workings of the divinities and the cosmology and all those sorts of things, yes, but the approach is always inside out. Because of my training and my orientation, I know that the only way that you're going to be able to make use of the wisdom of Ifa, or make use of the most potent magic, or make use of the strongest medicine, is if you are taking an inside-out approach. If you recognize what's the content of that bowl of water that I alluded to earlier, the better you understand that, the easier and more effectively you're going to be able to make use of any other kind of a spiritual tool or resource. And so when I talk about looking for leaders, I'm talking about people who are ready, willing, and able to exercise and practice personal leadership first. People who want to tap into their innate abilities and demonstrate for themselves in private, on their own, that my destiny is capable of helping me show up and perform in whatever arena I have chosen to show up and perform, and do so at the highest level possible. If you are one of those people, I want you to join us in the Orisha Lifestyle Academy, so that we can start equipping you with the skills and the tools and the training that you need to start living the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you're destined to serve. Aboru aboye, aboshishem.
Toca tu y mai,